We're joined now by Brooklyn Nets point guard Spencer Dinwiddie.
And?
And?
Your neighbor.
What do you mean? Who? Oh, my neighbor, Spencer.
Damn, you forget your homies, don't you? Get on camera, forget your neighbor.
Yeah, Spencer, we live in the same place.
Yes, sir.
Spencer, great to have you here. You've done some recruiting this offseason. You were instrumental in the Kyrie, Kevin Durant saga. Mm-hmm. Your relationship with Kyrie, where did that start? How instrumental were you?
I mean, it actually started because we played against each other in high school, and St. Patrick's killed Taft High School. We reconnected All-Star break 2018 and just talked as friends, really. I mean, there's been so much made of this situation, but, you know, if your friend asks you questions about your team or your situation or your contract or things like that, you're going to answer them authentically. So it's less so like I was pitching Kyrie all summer or season or whatever it is that, hey, you got to come to the Nets. You know, because when he had made the Boston comments in preseason, I took him at face value and he meant them. So it wasn't all on me.
Yeah, but you said Kyrie started talking about playing in New York City in December. And I ain't got the schedule in front of me, but I think that's like in the season still. So how did you take that and what was that conversation about?
Well, what he said, it was in reference to my contract extension. And he said New York might be fun next year. So he didn't say I'm going to New York next year.
Yeah, I'm listening.
You know, so with that being said, I just took it at that. He's kind of cryptic sometimes. It is what it is. Like, maybe it was, obviously free agency was on his mind. I mean, how couldn't it be? He was coming up into free agency. It's a big year for him. He was super focused on season at the time still. He wanted Boston to make a run, obviously. So there's a lot of things that was going on through his mind, and we talked about a myriad of different topics.
Listen, you're a point guard. He likes to dominate the ball. There was no fear of that for you in terms of your development and your role in Brooklyn when you start talking about bringing a Kyrie Irving on the team?
Not at all. To date in the league, I played with great PGs. You know, I played with Brandon Jennings before he was hurt. Played with Reggie Jackson. He had obviously a spectacular year. Got him the $80 million contract. Played with D'Lo during his All-Star year. Played with Jeremy Lin. Unfortunately, he got hurt. And now Kyrie. I mean, obviously Kyrie has the best resume of the five of them, but I want to win. And so adding a talent like Kyrie and also subsequently KD only helps us as a group. And so I believe, you know, part of growing and getting better is being able to test yourself against the best, whether that's, you know, competition or on the same team. And I envision playing with them.
Now, you guys had great chemistry last year, which led to your success. Kyrie's situation in Boston, they were brewing, things were going well, and then last year occurred and didn't go so well. Any fear of the chemistry issues that may happen if Kyrie is now on the squad?
You know, obviously the Boston situation is what it was, and I wasn't in that locker room, so I can't comment on that specifically. But for us, I feel like we all have a vested interest in seeing this go well, right? And I made comments about that in the past, too. I took less than a contract extension to stay because I believe we would build something that we could win. If I start acting crazy, then it makes no sense. I should have just left and got more money, right? If he's going to come home and put the city on his back, per se, right, then he's got a vested interest in making this go well. If KD's going to come and play with his friends, you know, and not stay with the Warriors, and he has a vested interest in going well. Everybody across the board has, you know, a tie into this that maybe is a little bit more than just, oh, well, Brooklyn offered me a max deal. I'm just going to go there and we'll see what happens.
Spencer, Kyrie's reputation is he's quirky.
Yeah.
That's one way to describe it. Makes the flat earth comments. Now, great player, now on his third team. Yeah. What do you know about Kyrie and his personality that perhaps we don't know, the public doesn't know? Is quirky a proper description?
I don't know an NBA player that's not quirky to some extent. I truthfully don't. That's including myself. Because sometimes I think I'm the only sane person left on earth, which would probably make me pretty quirky, right?
Yeah.
There it goes. So,
right.
No, with him, though, he's got a big heart for his family. He's very driven to be a master at his craft. And, you know, he's a pretty authentic person, too. So, you know, with all those things, I mean, I'm excited to be his teammate. And we haven't had a situation to date over the last, you know, year and a half or so, where we've really bumped heads or really had too much, I guess, disagreement. So we'll see how it goes. Obviously, we haven't been on the same team yet, but I'm excited.
Now, how has your background shaped your journey? You're from L.A. like myself, got on that yellow bus all the way to Taft High School. Wasn't a one and done, a superstar collegiate player. And now look at you, man, one of the best players, especially in the reserve role coming off the bench. How has that shaped you, that road?
It's built the work ethic. It's built the mental toughness, you know, and the conviction to say what I feel and stand behind it and not be afraid of the backlash. You know, to your point, like I wasn't at any point in time considered to be the best player, right? But, you know, to fight off being in the G League and coming back, and last year, averaged 17 and 5, one of the best 6 men in the game. Mm-hmm. I made the comments before the season that nobody could guard me, and everybody laughed at me, and was like a top 3 ISO player in the league. So, you know, if looking at all that stuff is just, hey, I am who I am. I intend to be, you know, one of the most dynamic people on our roster. And I'm looking forward to trying to win as many games as possible.
I heard you and Marcellus whispering before we got on air. Your mom, a college professor at USC.
Yeah.
What influence has she had on you?
Big time influence. Academics were always first in our household.
Yes.
That's why Harvard was my second choice in college.
Harvard was?
Yeah.
Should have went.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
My top 3 were Colorado, Harvard, and UCLA. Those were my top 3. I credit my parents for letting an 18-year-old kid make his own decision and go to Pac-12 because he had dreams of going to the NBA. When most probably would have forced me to go to Harvard, right? But it's by far, academics were number 1. Mom stressed that. Still scared of her to this day.
Love it.
Hey, Kevin Durant, we've been spending a lot of time talking about Kyrie. Kevin Durant also joining the Brooklyn Nets. And Kevin, Kyrie, and DeAndre, according to the narrative, are all friends.
Yeah.
And the friendship was a part of their decision to join up and all go to Brooklyn together. Any concern that 3 outsiders, and again, they're now your teammates, though, are going to come in and a new dynamic, a new chemistry in the locker room with these 3 guys playing such an important role? Any fear of that or this whole friendship movement in the NBA? Your thoughts?
I would say the friendship movement probably stems from AAU, right? Because it's not like, hey, I'm the top person from California now, and I'm going to put my city on my back, and now I have beef with all other states, right, and demographics, right? You're getting to play all of these elite players at 10, 12, 14 years old, and so you kind of grow up together, too, with social media also making the world smaller. So,
is this good for the NBA?
I mean, I don't think it's bad. It's part of life. Things progress. Things change. You know, I mean, we're not going to see the same type of beef probably that we used to in the old days, but
same competition.
Well,
AAU competitions.
There's still a lot of rivalries that go on in the NBA. It's just not publicized as much because a lot of people don't want to disrupt their, you know, forward-facing image. You know, because if you're the only guy in the NBA fighting everybody, then you're crazy. But if the whole NBA is fighting, then you're normal, right? So I can't go out there and be like, oh, I hate this player and that player and that player and that player and that player, because then I'm going to be looked at as this wild card, and it's harder for me to get a job.
Now, broke that one down. The story goes that KD and Kyrie were a package deal the whole way. Belief in that?
As I heard it when it originally started, yes, that's what I heard. But as it got to, not the 11th hour, but let's say like the 9th and 10th hour, I heard Kyrie was coming, you know, and he was very firm in that decision. And then it was all about whether KD was going to join him or not.
Quickly, medical prognosis is one thing, player prognosis is a different thing. You're looking at KD and that Achilles, when y'all expecting them back?
I don't know.
Oh, don't do it. See, you covering up because you know you about to lie.
No.
Don't do that.
Hey. Whenever KD comes back, he comes back, whether that's this year, next year. We feel like we're capable of being one of the elite teams in the league when he does. And prior to him coming back, we still feel like we're one of the upper echelon teams in the East. You lasted that long without going PR into the end. Look at it, PR at the end. I love it.
Thank you, Spencer. I'll see you back on the Wilshire Corridor. Good luck next season. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. And be sure to check out more of the best clips from Speak For Yourself or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.